Yo, we are back and we got the goods here. Yesterday, posted the GOLEMXODIA, which was 1000% effect of golems, stacking those and getting some pretty crazy buffs as a result. You can see right here, we got the values. And I actually am only running 4 golems right now. I'm not running this ice golem. I haven't found a way to make use of all 5 without, I don't know, it just looking worse than this. I tried doing COC, cast on crit, forbidden rite, to make use of the ice golem, but it just doesn't look that good. So this is what I got right now. That none of that really matters. GOLEMXODIA is extremely powerful. We have damage over time cap against pinnacle bosses with a little extra hit damage, and we have 15 mil uber pinnacle boss DPS, and we have some really nice max hits, 38k fizz, immune to chaos damage, and 103k elemental. And we also have over almost half of our ES pool as leech, and 10% or so as regeneration. So we're pretty good against damage over time as well. The build's looking real good. Very powerful, as I was saying yesterday. And honestly, this is just like one build out of so many that you can do with this setup. I did move the tree over to the right side. I prefer this side. It's better. It has some better nodes to grab. But yeah, I don't really have much outside of golem effect on this tree. There's a little bit of poison here. Leech stuff. It's mostly all just an effect tree. Oh, and I have this node over here for some recovery. But yeah, so you can, the base setup is so powerful. You can make most builds work with the GOLEMXODIA. I don't know if it's gonna survive, but it'll be fun to whip out a bunch of different builds if it does end up surviving. But yeah, so I have 2 different setups. I have the forbidden rite, about 1000% effect set up. It's not quite 1000. 983. I have over 1000 on the stone golem, but yeah, almost 1000 effect. And then we have the I called it flexible. This tree only has 660% effect, but honestly, it's about the same DPS, and it's tankier elemental hit by a good amount. The gear is slightly better on it, just because it's using a really nice melding of the flesh. But yeah, so I would say you don't even need to get you need some of these. You only need 1, 2, 3, 8 megalos with primordial bond. Honestly, you can probably make it work with less than that. That might be my next video, is the minimalist setup of the GOLEMXODIA and like progression steps from leveling until you reach this point. But yeah, this everything looks fine, and it's using a lot less of those large clusters and megalos. But yeah, I was actually expecting there to be a bigger difference between these two. I was thinking the flexible one would be a lot stronger, but they're pretty close actually. So that just shows how powerful this setup is. But yeah, I guess I'll go into some details for each of these. You don't need any of these corrupts on the stuff. This is just showing you what one of the best corrupts is. Darkseer Scepters are super strong. They're giving a lot of defense, some offense, and the +2 to all spell skill gems is really good here because golems count as spells. So I'm not actually factoring in the golem levels right now, and I have something about this in my notes. I'll go over the notes at the end. But yeah, the plus levels is really good. Probably one of the best stats you can get. All this gear right here is mostly just energy shield with some resistance, with some nice Eldritch implicits. You don't need to max out the Eldritch implicits. The most important ones are physical from hits taken as chaos, and the chance to poison on hit on the gloves. Everything else is just like a little bonus. Got Ashes of the Stars. It's hard to see how good this is for the build right now because we're calculating golem effect in the configuration. But once the POB is released with all the patch notes changes, it'll be a lot easier to min-max these builds. Right now it's kind of hard. Yeah, we're running Anathema plus the Focus Helmet with 4 curses, super strong for poison. The curses are so strong that it's worth running this replica ring right here for the curse effect. And we're just running a high energy shield belt, a jewel with some like damage, some energy shield. Yeah, and then I didn't put any flasks in. Pretty flexible there. Probably want movement speed, silver flask. I did put this flask in, the Dying Sun. This is a huge damage boost. Burst button. I recommend getting one of these once you get to this point. It's a 50% damage boost. Kind of crazy. I think all the projectiles will land for Forbidden Rite because we have so much area of effect. But could be wrong there. I didn't do any calculations really for that. But yeah, so there's the items for the 1000% effect setup. Here's our links. Nothing too crazy in here. I tried to not put in the most expensive awakened gems. If you can get awakened GMP, that's going to be a huge boost for the extra projectile. Awakened Spell Echo will be a decent boost as well, but not like super huge because this setup doesn't really use the double damage multiplier. You can actually see the difference. Yeah, GMP is going to be a giant boost if you can get that. Yeah, so Awakened Spell Echo is only a 4% increase over this one, so it's really not much. Definitely not worth going for until you're drowning in currency. And here's our auras. It's really messy looking, but just look for the checkmarked ones. And you can swap them around too. The mandatory one is Herald of Agony. Gives a huge damage boost for a small reservation. Flesh and Stone I highly recommend too. The area of effect of this thing is going to be humongous, and it's giving a lot of damage reduction. And then I guess you can play with the last one. Keep in mind your mana pool too. because you can activate most of these and still have mana left over, but you're gonna have to feel out the cast rate, because our mana regeneration is below the mana cost per second. I know the mana cost stuff got reduced overall for a bunch of spell supports, so I just put in 10% less, but it could be more or less than that. And then Arcane Surge got buffed too. I don't currently have it in the build, but once POB is updated and everything, I might try and squeeze it in here. But yeah, there's that. Our golems, they're just going to be socketed into the weapons. I have them disabled right now because it'll mess up the calculations. It's harder to do the calculations if you have them enabled, so I just put their effects in here and disabled them. But yeah, they're in the weapons, at least those ones are. Here's our helmet, focus helmet with all the curses. Punishment's level 1 just to calculate the actual damage output of it. Make sure though that that's level 20 or 21 when you use it. It's level 1 because you can only check mark if enemy's low life or if it's not. So the way to get the accurate calculation in POB is to set it to level 1. Withering Step setup is very important. This actually gives us 15 wither debuffs. When you start out, you don't have to have like everything enhanced in power, but you do want to get to this point eventually to apply all 15 debuffs. And everything in here it needs level 21. Like if you have one less level, you get 14 debuffs. Everything in here is important. And then put the most important golem in here. Stone Golem gives us our, 220% increased defenses right here. So that's the one I want to have the extra levels and all that. It actually has, well, you have to enable it first, but it actually has a lot of health, and I'm pretty confident in it's going to be able to survive most endgame stuff. 124k health, recovery, and we could anoint like Grave Intentions for chaos res and then life as ES, or even get more regeneration for it. So I'm pretty confident in the golem being able to survive. Also, we might have a mercenary buffing everything too, so it should be okay, hopefully. And then we got the get over here. Yeah, golems are being naughty. You call them over, pretty much. And gives them a little life regen, keeps them out of the whatever the hell they're getting into. And, of course, the Frostblink or Flame Dash. But yeah, this covers all of our sockets. It's definitely socket starved. You could free up a little bit of sockets like here and there by giving some stuff up, but this is pretty efficient setup right here. It's gonna be hard to squeeze like more out of it. So yeah, that's everything for the 1000% effect. I'll quickly go over the flexible one too. Skills are about the same. Auras are a little different though. We're running Malevolence and we're running Purity of Fire. Running Purity of Fire because of melding of the flesh. And the biggest difference, we're getting rid of this whole bottom section on the tree. It gives us a lot more nodes. There is more quality of life for the flexible setup. You don't have to get as many Magalos, which is nice because they're probably going to be expensive. Running the Trader, just cause it's nice for bossing. And we have 100% uptime on Silver Flask and a Ruby Flask. If you do put in another flask, the Ruby Flask is close to 100, but not quite. I highly recommend getting 100 on there, because if it's not up, then your defense is going to the shitter. But yeah, you can probably do some stuff to get another flask in there. Other than that, the gear is less energy shield on each piece and then more resistance, so it should be similar in price to the other ones. And I think that's about all the differences. There really isn't much between the two. Anything good on the tree? Yeah, there's really not. Oh, we're running enduring composure as well for endurance charges, so it might be worth running a mortal call on this. I don't know. This is how I have it set now, and it's pretty, like, DPS, uber pinnacle DPS, 14 mil, max hits are extremely good. It's in a good spot already, so yeah, I think it's fine. I guess I can go over the Ascendency points, and then I'll go over the notes real quick, and that's about all I got. So the Ascendency points, we're running Shaper of Winter. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be 20 or 40% chill. Our hits are pretty big, our singular hits, but it might not be quite enough on Uber Pinnacles to do a 20% or a 40% chill, so this might be a little less. We're running Shaper of Storms for the 25% shock. I could put that there. Then we're running Bastion of Elements. This gives us a nice chunk of elemental max hit. And of course we're running Legion of the Primordial. All the GOLEMXODIA builds are running that. But yeah, watch my previous video to go in depth on that whole setup. Also, I'm probably gonna run Shaper of Flames over Shaper of Storms in the actual league. This is gonna make your physical max hit a lot tankier, and your golem's physical max hit tankier. So I think that's really useful. I just don't have it in here right now because it doesn't really show anything on the POB. It doesn't look that good. Like, if you enable it, all it does is boost your effective max pool by a tiny bit, so it doesn't look that good. So yeah, I'm probably really gonna run it, but for POB wise, it looks like crap, so I'm not putting it in here. But yeah, Ascendency points. I'm gonna go over the notes now. Ascendency points are flexible, so experiment with them. Don't unspec out of the golem node though. Yeah, so if one of the golems is disabled in the config, you can summon 2 of your most important golem, which is probably going to be the stone golem. But you need, I'm not running anima stone here. If I was running anima stone, which I probably would outside of the POB, then that information applies, but right now it doesn't. Might not make much sense, but this, depending on how tanky your golem is, this could be really important or not. Yeah, I sort of went over this already, but the golem levels aren't factored into the buffs, so any mod that says level 20 on it is going to be, I think, at least 25% higher, because we're getting like 8 levels. I don't know the actual values though, so we'll see. But damage over time multi, which is huge, increased damage, accuracy, mana regen, life regen, those are all the mods that are going to be increased by more than what's showing in these configurations. And there's a few things. I tried to underestimate the POB. Like, I don't have some stuff clicked. Focus isn't clicked, which gives us a chunk of damage. So yeah, try and underestimate things usually. Flexible setup looks better unless you're making use of 5 golems, all 5. Oh yeah, for the flexible setup, you do lose out on a good chunk of golem HP. So that could actually be troublesome. We'll see how it feels. But yeah, making use of all 5 golems buffs is really... I'm not seeing a way to do it that's better than just making use of 4. I'm sure something will pop up, but I haven't figured it out yet. And then is there anything else? Here's just like questions that I'm expecting to be asked. Hopefully you guys look through the notes before you ask, but I'll just copy and paste this stuff if run into it anyways. I'll be adding to the notes as well over time. So yeah, that's about all for the GOLEMXODIA. This is my first setup for it. I'm probably going to brainstorm some more about them. Maybe try and make another build or 2. I am still worried it's going to get nerfed, but it's just fun to brainstorm with this setup. It has so much like synergy and stuff with everything. It covers all the bases. So yeah, I'll probably end up doing another one. I do have to attend to my volcanic fissure of snaking and winter orb POBs. There's been some questions and some stuff that people want in the POBs, so I'll be working on those. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully GOLEMXODIA stays alive and it'll be a blast to actually build this out. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.